Welcome to the Best Small Business Show. BJ, it's always a pleasure.
I am so glad to see you. You know, with summer here and Q3 rapidly approaching, I felt like saying, uh-oh, order all my vitamins again. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
So it's that time of the year for scaling what works. What do we mean by that? Look at your business. What's working? Start to make it bigger. And it's really time to evaluate all of your business systems.
Yeah. And this is like a real problem with most small businesses. They rely on outdated static email lists. That's what we're talking about this session is email lists. I cannot believe the number of people who don't touch their email list. It kills me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm raising my hand there. I'm just as bad. But the solution to do this, and we're going to give you 4 action steps, is to stop hoarding names and start tracking visitor intent. We're going to talk a lot more about that, but too
Yeah.
often we're hoarding names. We're like, oh, I have a list of 5,000. I have a list of, well, how many of them are actually reading your emails? How many of them
Yes.
are actually clicking and stuff?
Exactly. And Rich, I have to ask you to set the scene here because why are static lists so dead? Like why even go to all that effort?
Well, names and emails, they're total commodities now. We want you to focus on behavioral data. What are they doing? What are they clicking on? What are they accessing? Actions over identity. Because if you just have a static email list and I'm sending out an email and I'm not getting any response, this is terrible, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. And I do feel for clients, your email list is your gold,
Yeah.
right? And if it's all clogged up and you're not getting out of it what you really need, that's just not, no, we're not doing that. But let's break down 4 areas of new data strategies today to really help our listeners kind of grab on to the new way of doing it.
Yeah, and I like the term you use, BJ, clogged. When you
Yeah.
have an overly wieldy email list that's clogged with names of people that don't care about your business, that don't care about your newsletter, but they haven't unsubscribed, but they're still, it probably goes into their junk box, it just goes
Uh,
away.
and think about this. How many new clients do you actually need this month? As
Yeah.
a small business, that's a finite number. Everybody knows that number. And when you think, oh, I got a list of 4,000. Now, you know what? No, you don't. You probably
Yeah.
have a list of 2,000, just like Rich said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something to think about. Take us into point number 1.
Well, point 1 is track actions, not names. Okay, so stop settling for just emails. You need to track the user clicks. Where are they going? What are they clicking on? That's the first thing. If you have a newsletter that goes out and there's no ability for the reader to click on something to take action, you're lost there. And BJ, you could go more
Oh,
into this, but
oh my gosh. When you want to be able to say to people, take them on a conversion path. And we talk a lot about conversion paths on websites, but there's already a conversion path starting once this email goes out because you met them at a webinar, you met them at a conference, you met them somewhere. So this conversion path is already happening. So for you, you need to really track what specific page visits they're doing, exactly the link to various engagements. That's all doable in all of our email clients that are available right now. All the platforms have so much great ways to be able to capture data.
Yeah, I mean, I have a simple newsletter and I have links to my website. So if you click
Yeah,
on the logo and the image and the header, it takes you right to my website. I have a link to this podcast. So I talk about the
exactly.
podcast episode, and I also have a link to my book. So I could track all this, and that's simple. You could get even more complex. But
Oh, yeah.
see, what I'm looking at is behavior. And this behavior showing intent. Like, are they interested? Email addresses show nothing. They just,
Eh,
if I'm just sending it out and I'm just throwing information out to the wind, I'm
right.
doing all this work for nothing. Let
Yeah.
me tell you about an actual story, a real client scenario that I had. Um, I was working with this B2B consulting firm. Okay, you ready for this? They had 20,000
Oh
email
my gosh.
subscribers.
Okay. Okay.
So they had a real hunky email subscriber list, but it was a pure vanity metric. It really was because, oh, I have 20,000 people. Ooh. It was a massive list.
Yeah.
And guess what? Here's the secret. Zero actual sales conversions.
Oh my
They
gosh.
they were sending out a newsletter every month to 20,000 people and nothing was coming back. They were
Ouch.
starving for revenue in a sea of useless contacts. So
Oh
the
my God.
first thing we did is we killed the generic newsletters and started tracking specific clicks that the readers were making. We only looked at who repeatedly visited their pricing page.
Ooh.
And what happened was by filtering out the tourists, and I love that term, tourists. There's, they're tourists. We found the actual intent, and guess what? We found 50 repeat visitors out of
Oh,
20,000.
oh my
But
God.
here's the hint: they picked up the phone and called them, and they closed 3 massive contracts that week. So
Think about that.
here's the moral of the story: behavior pays, lists don't. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
that was a great
you.
one.
And
So
you know what is
yeah,
so amazing is going back and looking at that list and saying to yourself, this is wild. Those three people, we've met them all
yeah.
at that networking event. Oh my God. What if you had just tracked them from that point to this point? It could have happened a month or so ago. So it's amazing that they did that.
So your action step out of this one is audit your current lists and segment by engagement. See what they're clicking on, see what they're doing, and then jump on them.
Love it. I love that. Now, point number two is map the buying triggers. Okay. So finding specific actions right before the purchase. This is essential if you want to start really viewing and using a conversion path.
Yeah, and webinar attendance, did they attend a webinar that you did? Or did they have 3 consecutive email opens? That's behavior tracking. That's not a tourist. That's tracking their behavior.
Yeah. And you're identifying that catalyst, right? The proprietary buying trigger. That's what that is. And everybody has a different one. You know, Rich
Yeah.
mentioned that one, right? But it could be something different for your business. And that's why you want to give them the ability to engage in what you're doing, because that will make it easier for you to form a trigger. We have clients that really, the people who you need to be able to make your quota this month are specific finite number, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And you really need to treat your list like living, breathing group of soon-to-be clients. And that conversion path begins so far before that email ever goes out. And
Hmm.
you need to be able to orchestrate it and be in total control of that. You know,
Hmm.
that's where I think a lot of people don't get it. You just don't set and forget.
Yeah.
It's very different. Now, your action step is map the last 5 sales to triggers, okay? And if you do this and you start paring your list down and getting it tighter and tighter, and then using tags and segments, you're going to start to see a real pattern emerging. Excellent to do.
I love that line. It's from the old television commercial. Set it and forget it. You know,
Yes.
set it and forget it.
No.
So, well,
Oh my gosh.
we always sneak in a little promo break. So this podcast is sponsored by New Renew Brand Marketing, a full service agency building strong brands with clarity and vision. Their clients are reaching their potential, and they really are, through innovative messaging, results-driven AI research and analytics, and keeping their audiences front and center. So reach out to BJ Flagg at newrenew.com today.
And my promo break is, let's talk about business coaching for your small business. Hoarding useless emails, starving the actual buying behavior. Leaders usually lack headspace for strategy. On the other hand, they are never lacking in raw talent. So think about that. Rich strips away daily garbage that clutters your time. Need a bulletproof plan to grow your business? Spend 20 minutes with Rich. Zero cost, zero pitch, 2 decades of powerful solutions. Secure your slot today at richg.com.
So let's get back into it. Point number 3, delegate your data capture. And this is one that so many of my clients end up doing. Manual tracking is impossible. Systems building is required.
And you know what? Automating data collection is just something that you got to get it in your head that this is one of the most important parts of your sales strategy. And delegating the setup process can be a huge benefit to you.
Yeah, so build the system once. Capture insights automatically. So you build the system to do it. Don't do it manually. I had a great story I have from a client is I had a small business owner who realized the value of tracking buying behavior. He bought into this. He knew what was going on, but he tried to build the back end himself. You know, and
Ouch.
that's a mistake that many business owners do. Oh, I'll just do it myself. He was wasting 10 hours a week manually cross-referencing link clicks in his CRM, acting
Ouch.
like a glorified data clerk instead of an owner. I told him straight up, successful owners don't play in the weeds. We hired an outside vendor consultant, handed her the exact objective, and within 48 hours, this is so funny, she engineered an automated tagging sequence that runs silently in the background. So what did she do? She built the system once, delegated the execution entirely, and let you get back to scaling your business. So
Isn't
the
that a
action
genius?
step.
That was genius, Rich. Sorry to say, sorry to interrupt, but that's genius.
Yeah, it was brilliant. You just hire somebody that knows what they're doing. So the action step is assign operations lead to implement the tracking. Don't do it yourself.
Now, point number 4 is purge the dead weight. Stop paying to host dead clients. This is something that so many people run into. You've got to stop paying to host dead contacts.
Yeah, if they never click, they're a liability. You know, I had this problem many years ago. I had over 4,000 people on my email list.
Ouch.
And it was great. I had this vanity list. Oh, I have 4,000 people. Well, I actually, when I switched email providers, I went to this service that analyzed my list. And they broke it down by industry, service, geography, everything. And I found out of the 4,000 emails, names that I had, 2,000 of them were from Russia and China. which
Ouch.
was not, they were bots. It was all
Yeah.
bots. I don't have any customers there. So I immediately cut my list in half. And
Oh,
it was scary, but I was like that vanity feel of getting rid of 50% of my list, but it
yeah.
made my list that much more effective and efficient.
Yeah. And really cutting out those non-engagers should just be without hesitation. Just go get it cut out. We worked with a seasoned CEO who just bragged about their list, right? 50,000 subscribers. And then when we applied the behavioral tracking to it, we found out that 40,000 hadn't even clicked one link in an entire year. He was like paralyzed by this idea of shrinking his audience. To your point, Rich, right?
Yeah.
You're like paralyzed about it. But we told him straight up, these matrix aren't going to pay your payroll, bud. These are fake people. We talked about the bounces. We talked about everything that needed to happen. And guess what? Once we ruthlessly did that, his deliverability skyrocketed. His software costs plummeted, and his sales team finally had the headspace to close the 10,000 prospects who actually have interest in his company. Oh my gosh, it was a big one. That was a whopper, and it took a lot. But a great action step for this is delete any subscriber with 0 link clicks in 90 days. All
Yeah.
right. Just zip, zip, zip. And there's a lot of the email contacts will let you delete them, but not unsubscribe. So if they wanted to subscribe again, they could.
Mhm.
So take advantage. Absolutely take advantage. It doesn't count to you, and you're going to see your open rates, your click throughs all skyrocket.
Well, shifting from static lists and building behavioral value.
Better people, better business, and better life.
Thank you to our producer, Richard Scalzo, for making us sound great. And thanks for tuning in to the best small business show.